Welcome to Motive Horror, where I explore the details of real-life stories of terror and dread. Today's Motive Horror is natural disaster. Specifically, the disaster at Lake Nyos in Cameroon. Imagine going about your normal daily business only to happen upon a village inexplicably consumed by death. The streets lined with deceased animals and the bodies of men, women, and children. No signs of life. As if conjured directly from a horror movie, the physical properties of the village are completely unscathed, leaving no visible evidence of catastrophe on the scale that the masses of bodies clearly indicate. This is exactly what happened to the towns near Lake Nyos in August of 1986 in Cameroon. Reports of an unusual event surfaced describing the ground rumbling and a geyser shooting hundreds of feet out of the Central African lake and forming a cloud. Those who witnessed it firsthand found it peculiar but unthreatening and called it a night. The following morning, an unexpectedly gruesome twist to the situation unfolded. As the story goes, Emmanuel Ngumbi, chief of medicine at a Cameroonian health center, went to investigate the event. He rode his bike toward Lake Nyos. As he neared the lake, he began noticing an unusual smell. And shortly after noticing that smell, he grew dizzy and fell to the ground unconscious. When he awoke, he continued his mission, riding his bike toward the lake. Farther into his journey, he found a dead antelope on the road. Not wanting it to go to waste, he strapped it to his bicycle before proceeding. Though completely unaware at the time, that antelope was just a shallow glance into the horror that awaited him. He pressed on and found more dead animals, rats, birds, and a dog. Finally, he decided to inquire in the village of Cha, nearby Lake Nyos, as to what may have happened to the animals. He was met with a shocking and macabre scene. Bodies of deceased villagers everywhere. No signs of life. He threw his bike down and ran the entire 20 miles back to Wum to warn of this discovery. Witnesses to the horrific aftermath shared some grim details from their experiences, finding their loved ones who they had seen only hours previously dead. Some of these chilling accounts noted that the birds did not sing that morning as they normally did, and there were no flies on the bodies of the dead that day. One unfortunate survivor awoke in the middle of the night, choking and gasping for air. He described hearing his daughter snore in an unusual, terrible way. He was only awake for a moment. He tried to cross the room but could barely walk. He tried to speak but could not produce any words. He once more fell unconscious, waking the following morning to find his daughter dead in her bed. The death toll was immense. About 1,750 people perished. 3,500 livestock were killed, not to mention the countless pets and wild animals that undoubtedly died in this cataclysm. What occurred on August 21st, 1986 in Cameroon was perplexing. What could possibly create so much chaos, so much destruction, but display no immediately apparent physical evidence besides the staggering death toll? What transpired was so inexplicable that there were rumors that the incident was caused by a secret government experiment. The culprit, however, was an exceptionally rare natural disaster known as a Limnic eruption. This extraordinary phenomenon occurs when carbon dioxide trapped inside deep lake waters erupts and forms a dangerous gas cloud like the one that wreaked havoc around Lake Nyos in Cameroon. carbon dioxide is plentiful in our atmosphere. We come into direct contact with it in small quantities on a daily basis. However, in large quantities, carbon dioxide is dangerous and deadly since it displaces oxygen. Inhalation can cause severe symptoms of oxygen deprivation, such as rapid breathing, rapid heart rate, nausea, vomiting, unconsciousness, convulsion, coma, asphyxiation, and death. At a density of up to 8% carbon dioxide, the cloud that swept across the region of Cameroon was 200 times the concentration of normal CO2 levels in the Earth's atmosphere. While most geologists agree that this was likely caused by a landslide, the exact cause of this particular limnic eruption is not known for certain. Such eruptions can also be caused by earthquakes, underwater volcanic eruptions, and cooler rainwater falling on one side of the lake, which can cause an overturning of the gas under the water. As for how this massive quantity of carbon dioxide became trapped within the waters of Lake Nyos, that is actually much better understood. Lake Nyos is located along the Cameroon Line, also known as the Cameroon Volcanic Line. This is a chain of volcanoes which runs from the Gulf of Guinea into mainland Africa between Nigeria and Cameroon. This line of volcanoes is unusual in that it runs through both oceanic and continental crust. Lake Nyos is a crater lake, which sits along this line in a volcanic swell known as the Oku volcanic plain. The volcanic activity that goes on beneath the Earth's surface in this area feeds volcanic gases into the lake, gases such as carbon dioxide. This is why CO2 was and continues to be so abundant in Lake Nyos. Events like this limnic eruption are utterly terrifying for a number of reasons, primarily because they are unpredictable in nature. There was no warning that something was going to go wrong until it was far too late to act. Though estimates vary, it is hypothesized that as much as 1.5 million tons of carbon dioxide spewed from the lake at over 60 miles per hour, forming a 160-foot thick cloud of CO2. And since CO2 is denser than air, it sinks to the surface, where it displaces the fresh, breathable air. Incredibly, this cloud of CO2 was able to travel 15 miles into the regions surrounding the lake. To put this quantity of gas into perspective, Lake Nyos is about 2 kilometers long by 1.2 kilometers wide, or 1.2 miles by 3/4 of a mile. The average depth is about 311 feet, and the peak depth is 682 feet. This is quite a large lake. After the outgassing caused by the limnic eruption, the level of the lake dropped by more than 3 feet. Scientists believe that, likely resulting from the aforementioned landslide, the lake spawned an 80-foot wave that slammed the shore, even taking down some trees along the lake's coast. The intense turbulence in the water changed the lake's color from its typical shade of blue to a deep, eerie shade of red. This color change was caused by iron-rich water being churned to the surface and oxidizing. This harrowing event will certainly endure in the memories of Cameroonians for a long time to come. Today, Lake Nyos still sits atop a magma chamber, which feeds gas into its waters, indefinitely threatening another deadly eruption. Fortunately, there are now multiple degassing pipes installed in the lake. These pipes extend deep into the lake and pump out the carbon dioxide-infused water and allow it to dissipate into the air in smaller, harmless quantities. While it will never replace the lives lost, It's an important measure to help prevent such tragic occurrences from happening again in the future. I hope you enjoyed this brief documentary on the Lake Nyos disaster. If so, please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Until next time.